Hey guys, Miss Osuna here. We are going to do a croquis with shoulders that are straight and then the elbows are going to be bent. So the waist guideline is a little higher on the left. Go on ahead and place your neck and land on that shoulder guideline. Remember that's 0 to 1.5, and that's also the width of our shoulder. And this time around, when you're dragging down your shoulder, make sure you go underneath. But I've made the shoulders a little smaller, so this is playing around with styling. Now the left side and right sides of the body are going to be slightly curved toward the left, both of them. Now the waist is a little smaller than one head, and now let's place in our guideline for the crotch. Remember, it's parallel to the waist. So left side has a bigger curve and the right side smaller curve, but the hip is bigger. So I'm styling. Notice the hip is bigger than 1.5. And these are just styling choices to play to get a slightly different look. So I have a smaller shoulder and I have a bigger hip. Now on the left side, that's our beginning of our leg opening, that center of the leg, and drag that down. As you get closer to the number 9, drag it closer to the center line. The right side, it goes to the right. At 6 1/4, the leg bends, and then at 8, it bends again. So we are bending that knee and bending that ankle. Really slight. Okay, let's go back in and place our bust. Remember, that's 2 1/4. That is a standard, but you can make the bust bigger or smaller depending on what market you're designing for. So 2 1/4 is a standard. That would work for, say, someone who is very thin and maybe still developing. But if you were doing a fuller figure, you could drop that down to 2 1/2 even. Now, as we draw our arms, we are bending that elbow on the arm on the right side. Remember, elbow to wrist is from waist to crotch. So go back to your center line and measure just like I did, and that will give you the exact measurement every time. And here we are going to start off with our thumb for the hand and then put in the rest of the fingers. Now, technically, most people sketch the hand at 1 headspace. So that's usually 1 inch. Most people do a 9-inch croquis, and each headspace is 1 inch. But of course, your hands can be smaller or bigger. It's all a matter of styling. This whole thing today is about styling. So there you can see I snuck in the pinky, and now I'm doing the next arm. So once again, both elbows are bent, and then the wrists are slightly bent as well, and that just gives you a very different feeling. It's almost kind of like casual, but it still allows you to have a little bit of fun with your croquis. And once again, notice I do the thumb first, then I do the rest of our fingertips. Okay, so here I'm just squeezing in a few other fingers, and you want to practice this technique as many times as you can. Now we're going to work on the legs. So I have established the center of the leg on the left and the right. And now at 6 on the left side, that's our anchor leg. That's where the kneecap is. Remember, kneecap is facing the inside of our body. So remember, the left side of that knee is higher because that's the back of the knee. Okay, and as I'm doing the rest of the leg, remember I start off with both parentheses facing right. And then on the right side where the kneecap is, that's where I down under that knee at about 6 1/8, and then I make that parenthesis facing left. And then remember, for your toe, the big toe is on the inside and the little toes are on the outside. So for the ankle bone, the outside is lower, the right side is higher. So that's just a little triangle that you add, kind of like a less than, greater than sign. Now you're going to move over to complete the leg on the right side. So this fun pose really has the knees bent and the ankle bent and the wrists and the elbows bent. So that gives you a whole different feeling. So here I am doing the upper thigh, and the kneecap in this case is going to come a little tiny bit lower than 6. So now both of our knees caps are facing each other. So the right side is a little lower though. So the kneecap here is on the inside as well. And then draw in from underneath that knee down to your ankle. And that ankle is typically at 8, but in our case it's a little lower because the kneecap is a little lower. And then also that big toe is a little lower on the inside, and of course higher for the tinier toes on the outside. Of course, I add that less than greater than sign, that little triangle. Remember, on the outside it's lower, on the inside it's slightly higher, and that represents the ankle bone. So sometimes it's good for you to check anatomy and just take a look at the human body. What we're doing is just representing the body in an abbreviated way. Here I'm going to erase the insides of our face so that I can just draw some basic shapes for hair. So going ahead and clean out the inside of your face. And now we are just going to do really simple shapes in parentheses to have long bangs facing on the left side. So these are parentheses facing left. And then the hair is going to be in a sort of a bob haircut. So you can achieve this with these W shapes for the bottom of the bangs and also at the root. And you're just going to go around and down, and at the bottom of the hair you do those W shapes and go upward. So those W shapes from the top of the root going down and then the bottom of the hair coming up are all you need to gather the basic sense of a bob with some long bangs that are swooped over to the side. That's it for this tutorial. Hopefully you've gained some knowledge and your croquis are coming along. I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video, and until we meet again, please stay well.